Welcome back to ZE Coins channel today. This video, we are diving deep into the story, significance, mint marks, condition, and collector appeal of this classic nickel, uncovering why it continues to spark curiosity and interest among coin enthusiasts today. The year 1961 was a fascinating chapter in American history. The nation stood at the crossroads of tradition and transformation. A new president had taken office. The space race was gaining momentum, and American industry was strong and confident. Coins minted during this era reflect that steady rhythm of progress. The Jefferson 5-cent nickel of 1961 emerged during a period when everyday coinage was still crafted with durability and purpose, meant to circulate widely while quietly carrying the nation's identity. The Jefferson nickel design had already become familiar to Americans by 1961. On the obverse, we see the dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson, one of the nation's founding fathers. His calm expression reflects intellect, independence, and vision. The reverse proudly displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, symbolizing innovation, education, and architectural brilliance. By this point in time, the design was well refined, with crisp lines and balanced proportions that collectors still admire today. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1961 Jefferson nickel lies in its mint marks. These small letters tell a much larger story. Coins were produced at multiple minting facilities, each contributing to the nation's circulating currency. The presence or absence of a mint mark can influence collector interest, survival rates, and overall desirability. For collectors, identifying the mint mark is like discovering a birth certificate for the coin, revealing where it was created and how it entered the world. The 1961 Jefferson nickel is composed of a durable copper and nickel alloy, giving it that familiar silver-gray tone. This composition was chosen for strength and longevity, allowing the coin to withstand decades of handling. When held, it has a reassuring weight and solid feel, a reminder of an era when coins were designed to last. Even today, many examples survive with remarkable detail, proving the quality of craftsmanship used during this period. During its early years, the 1961 Jefferson nickel circulated freely through pockets, cash registers, and coin jars across America. Many were spent without a second thought, while others were tucked away by observant individuals who sensed their future potential. Over time, circulated examples developed smooth surfaces and softened details, while uncirculated pieces remained protected, preserving their original luster. This contrast in condition plays a crucial role in how collectors view and evaluate these coins. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A 1961 Jefferson nickel can tell vastly different stories depending on its state of preservation. Coins with sharp steps on Monticello, clear lettering, and original shine command special attention. Collectors often examine the coin under magnification, searching for clean fields, minimal marks, and strong strikes. Eye appeal, that immediate visual attraction, can elevate a coin from ordinary to exceptional. Why do collectors continue to seek out the 1961 Jefferson nickel? The answer lies in its balance of accessibility and intrigue. It is old enough to carry historical charm, yet common enough for new collectors to pursue without intimidation. Four-seasoned numismatists, high-grade examples, and specific mint mark varieties present rewarding challenges. This blend of approachability and depth keeps demand steady and interest alive. Over the years, the market has gradually refined its appreciation of the 1961 Jefferson nickel. Rather than focusing solely on age, collectors now emphasize quality, strike, and originality. Coins that stand out for their preservation or visual appeal tend to rise above the rest. This evolving perspective has helped redefine how these nickels are viewed, transforming them from everyday change into respected collectibles. Beyond its monetary considerations, the 1961 Jefferson nickel matters because it represents a moment in American life. It is a physical artifact from a time of ambition and stability, a coin that passed through countless hands while silently witnessing history unfold. Owning one is like holding a small piece of the American story, frozen in metal yet alive with meaning. For those interested in adding this coin to their collection, patience and knowledge are key. Learning to recognize strong details, authentic surfaces, and proper mint characteristics can make all the difference. Storing the coin carefully, away from moisture and harsh environments, helps preserve its condition for future generations. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, the journey of discovering the right example is part of the reward. Video dives deep into one such coin. The United States of America, the 1988 P Mint Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel. This is not just a pocket change survivor. It is a coin with a personality, a background, and a growing curiosity among collectors who know how to look beyond the surface. In this long-form journey, we will explore its history, its design, the meaning of its mint mark, what makes it desirable, and why people still search through rolls of nickels hoping to find a standout example. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at a Jefferson nickel the same way again. The year 1988 sits at an interesting point in American history. The Cold War was still shaping global politics, technology was moving steadily forward, and everyday Americans were going about their lives with coins like this nickel passing quietly from hand to hand. At that time, 5 cents could still buy small, everyday items, and coins were very much a living part of daily commerce. The Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for decades by 1988, making it a familiar face in wallets and cash registers. Yet familiarity often hides significance. Coins from this era represent a bridge between older minting traditions and the modern age of mass production. They were made to circulate, not to sit behind glass. And that makes high-quality survivors especially intriguing today. Truly appreciate the 1988 Jefferson nickel, we need to step back and understand the legacy of the series itself. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in the late 1930s, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Its design honored Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history, and his iconic home, Monticello. For decades, this design remained largely unchanged, creating a sense of continuity rarely seen in modern coinage. Generations grew up using the same basic nickel design, and that consistency built trust and recognition. The 1988 issue belongs to this long-running tradition, carrying forward a design that had already become a symbol of American everyday life. At first glance, the obverse of the coin presents a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. The design is calm, dignified, and restrained. Jefferson's expression is thoughtful, almost introspective, reflecting his role as a philosopher, statesman, and architect of democracy. The inscriptions surrounding the portrait reinforce national identity and ideals. Flip the coin over, and you see Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home. This building is not just a residence. It is a statement of Jefferson's love for architecture, balance, and Enlightenment values. The reverse design is symmetrical and formal, giving the nickel a sense of order and stability. Even in 1988, when coins were mass-produced, this artistry still mattered. One of the most important features of this coin is the P Mint mark. This small letter tells us where the coin was made, the Philadelphia Mint. By 1988, the use of mint marks on nickels was already established, and the P mark had become a clear indicator of origin. Philadelphia has a special place in American minting history. It was the first mint of the United States and has long been associated with precision, consistency, and high output. A 1988 P. Jefferson nickel represents not only the coin itself, but also the legacy of the mint that produced it. Collectors often pay close attention to mint marks because they can influence availability, strike quality, and long-term interest. The 1988 P. Jefferson nickel was produced in large numbers, as was typical for circulating coinage of the time. These coins were intended to be used, spent, dropped, and exchanged countless times. Most entered circulation immediately and showed signs of wear within years. Because of this, finding examples that remain sharply struck and well-preserved can be surprisingly challenging. Many were lost to damage, corrosion, or heavy circulation. This is where collector interest begins to rise. When a coin survives decades of use in unusually nice condition, it stands out from the crowd. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Two coins from the same year and mint can tell completely different stories depending on how they were treated over time. A worn example reflects years of service, while a pristine piece suggests careful storage, luck, or intentional saving. The 1988 P. Jefferson nickel becomes especially attractive when it shows strong details, clean surfaces, and minimal marks. Collectors appreciate the crispness of Jefferson's portrait, the clarity of Monticello's steps, and the overall eye appeal. These factors turn an ordinary coin into something worth discussing, studying, and showcasing. Another layer of fascination comes from the possibility of errors or subtle varieties. While not every 1988p nickel will have unusual features, collectors are always on the lookout for differences in strike, alignment, or surface characteristics. Even minor deviations can spark excitement and conversation within the collecting community. This sense of discovery is part of what keeps coin collecting alive. The idea that something special could be hiding in plain sight adds mystery to even the most common-looking coin. The 1988p Jefferson nickel fits perfectly into this mindset, encouraging careful inspection and patience. Beyond metal and mint marks, coins carry emotional and cultural value. They are tangible connections to the past. A nickel from 1988 may remind someone of childhood purchases, family errands, or a simpler time before digital payments dominated everyday life. For collectors, holding this coin can feel like holding a small piece of American continuity. It represents stability, routine, and shared experience. That emotional connection often drives interest just as much as technical details do. Over time, collectors and enthusiasts have begun to reassess coins from the late 20th century. What was once considered too modern to be collectible is now old enough to spark nostalgia and historical curiosity. The 1988p Jefferson nickel benefits from this shift in perception as interest grows in well-preserved examples. The coin's reputation continues to evolve. It is no longer just spare change. It is a representative of an era, a mint, and a design that defined American coinage for generations. Why talk about this nickel today? Because it reminds us that value is not always obvious. Coins like the 1988p Jefferson nickel teach patience, attention to detail, and respect for history. They show us that even the most familiar objects can gain new meaning over time. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just starting to look more closely at coins, this nickel offers a perfect lesson. It proves that curiosity can transform everyday items into fascinating stories waiting to be told. As we wrap up this deep dive, remember that every coin has a journey. The 1988p Jefferson 5-cent nickel began its life as a tool of commerce, passed through countless hands, and survived into a new era of collecting and appreciation. Its story is not loud or flashy, but it is steady, reliable, and quietly compelling. We're diving deep into a coin that many people have held, spent, or ignored without a second thought, but collectors know better. This is the story, value journey, and hidden appeal of the United States of America 1989 D-Mint Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary. It doesn't sparkle like silver, it doesn't shout rarity, and it doesn't scream treasure. But that's exactly what makes it fascinating. Coins like this hide their importance quietly, waiting for the right collector to recognize their worth. And if you're someone who enjoys discovering value where others see none, you're going to want to hear this entire story. The Jefferson nickel has always been a symbol of American continuity. Introduced during the early 20th century, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and brought a more refined, presidential presence to everyday change. By the time the 1989 edition was struck, the design had already become deeply familiar to the American public. Yet familiarity doesn't mean insignificance. In fact, it often means history layered quietly over decades of circulation. The 1989 Jefferson nickel with the D-Mint mark was produced at the Denver Mint, a facility known for its consistency, precision, and high-output coinage. Denver-minted coins often display sharp details, strong strikes, and a reliability that collectors have come to respect. This specific mint mark, placed neatly on the coin, instantly tells a story of where it was born and the standards under which it was created. On the obverse side, you'll find the dignified portrait of Thomas Jefferson. His profile is calm, thoughtful, and restrained, qualities that mirror the understated nature of the coin itself. The lettering surrounding Jefferson is clean and balanced, and when preserved well, the details of his hair, jawline, and coat can still appear crisp decades later. For collectors, these fine details matter more than most people realize. Turning the coin over, Monticello stands proudly at the center. Jefferson's historic home is more than architecture. It's a symbol of early American ideals, independence, and intellect. On well-preserved examples of this nickel, the steps of Monticello can be especially important. Strong definition here often separates a common circulated piece from one that commands serious attention. Now let's talk about what truly drives interest in this coin: condition. Most 1989 D. Jefferson nickels were heavily circulated. They passed through countless hands, registers, vending machines, and pockets. Over time, this were softened details, dulled surfaces, and erased sharpness. That's why finding one in high-grade condition is far more challenging than many expect. Collectors aren't just looking for age, they're looking for preservation. A coin that escaped heavy circulation, maintained original luster, and avoided damage becomes something special. Add to that strong strike quality and eye appeal, and suddenly a coin once dismissed as pocket change becomes a collector-grade piece. Another factor that elevates this nickel is market psychology. Modern-era coins are increasingly appreciated as time passes. As older collections are locked away and fewer pristine examples remain available, demand slowly rises. Collectors who once focused only on older silver issues are now turning their attention to high-quality modern base metal coins, especially those with clean mint marks and excellent surfaces. The Denver Mint's production quality plays a role here as well. Many 1989 D nickels show excellent alignment and strike depth when properly preserved. This consistency makes standout examples even more desirable because they represent the very best of what that mint produced during the late 20th century. What's also fascinating is how underestimated this coin remains. Many people still believe only gold or silver coins have real value. But seasoned collectors know that scarcity and condition can be just as powerful as precious metal content. A well-preserved Jefferson nickel from this era is no longer easy to find, and that scarcity fuels its appeal. This coin also holds educational value. It represents a transitional period in American coin collecting, when minting technology was improving, yet mass circulation still dominated daily life. It's a snapshot of a time when coins were used constantly, not stored away immediately as collectibles. That historical context adds depth and meaning beyond the metal itself. For new collectors, the 1989 D. Jefferson nickel serves as a perfect gateway coin. It teaches the importance of mint marks, strike quality, surface preservation, and long-term market trends. For advanced collectors, it offers the challenge of finding exceptional examples that rise above the ordinary. And let's not forget the emotional side of collecting. Coins like this often come from rolls searched with patience, collections inherited from family members, or unexpected discoveries in everyday change. That personal connection adds another layer of value, one that can't be measured but is deeply felt by collectors. As interest continues to grow and the market evolves, the worth of high-quality examples of this coin has reached a level that surprises many people. What was once dismissed as a simple 5-cent piece now stands as proof that knowledge, patience, and attention to detail can transform the ordinary into something remarkable. Journey takes us into the heart of one such coin, the 1995 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with the D mint mark. This coin does not shout for attention. It doesn't glitter like gold or sparkle like silver. But what it carries is something equally powerful: context, condition, demand, and hidden worth. In this video, we will explore the background, design, production, minting details, historical importance, and collector appeal of the 1995 D. Jefferson nickel, and why it continues to spark interest among numismatists today. A brief look at the Jefferson nickel legacy. The Jefferson 5-cent coin was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the coin honored Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. For decades, the Jefferson nickel remained one of the most stable designs in American coinage. By the time 1995 arrived, the design had already become iconic. Generations of Americans had grown up seeing Jefferson's profile on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1995 issue belongs to the long-running classic era of the Jefferson nickel, before major design changes and commemorative variations altered its appearance in the early 2000s. Understanding the D mint mark, the small letter D on the coin carries big meaning. It tells us the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most important minting facilities in the United States. The Denver Mint has long been known for producing high-quality circulation coins with strong strikes and consistent detail. In 1995, the Denver Mint produced a massive number of Jefferson nickels intended for everyday use. These coins entered circulation immediately, passing through countless hands, stores, and transactions. However, not every coin survived in the same condition, and that is where value begins to separate itself from face value. Design details that matter on the front of the coin. Thomas Jefferson faces left, his expression calm and dignified. The word liberty appears to the right, followed by the year 1995. Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline are important areas collectors examine when grading the coin. Flip the coin over, and Monticello stands proudly at the center. The architectural details, steps, columns, and dome, are crucial when determining quality. Coins with sharp steps and clean lines are far more desirable than those with worn or flattened details. One particularly important feature for collectors is the clarity of the steps at the base of Monticello. Strongly struck examples showing full steps are much rarer and more sought after. Composition and physical characteristics. The 1995 D. Jefferson nickel follows the standard composition used for most modern nickels. It is made of a copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and resistance to corrosion. The coin has a smooth edge, weighs 5 grams, and measures just over 21 millimeters in diameter. While these technical details may seem routine, they play a role in authentication and grading, especially when evaluating coins for professional certification. Circulation versus collector condition. Most 1995 D. Jefferson nickels were used in daily commerce. As a result, the majority show signs of wear, scratches, dull surfaces, and softened design elements. These circulated examples are common and usually hold little collector interest. However, coins preserved in exceptional condition tell a different story. Uncirculated examples, especially those that avoided contact with other coins, retain sharp details, original luster, and clean surfaces. These traits significantly increase desirability. Coins that were carefully stored in rolls, mint sets, or protective holders stand apart from their circulated counterparts. Why collectors pay attention? Collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying history, condition, and scarcity. While the overall mintage of the 1995 D nickel was high, top-quality examples are far less common than people assume. Demand comes from several types of collectors. Jefferson nickel specialists, modern U.S. coin collectors, registry set builders, investors seeking condition-based rarity. For these collectors, small differences in strike quality, luster, and preservation can dramatically affect worth. The role of grading and certification. Professional grading services play a major role in determining a coin's market position. When a 1995 D. Jefferson nickel is graded, experts evaluate it under magnification, examining surface marks, strike strength, and overall eye appeal. Coins that achieve high grades, especially with strong step detail on Monticello, can reach levels far above ordinary expectations. Certified examples also carry trust and liquidity in the collector market, making them easier to buy, sell, or trade. Long-term appeal and market interest. Even decades after its release, the 1995 D. Jefferson nickel remains relevant. As time passes, high-grade examples become harder to find, often locked away in collections or permanently encapsulated. This slow reduction in available top-quality coins adds to long-term interest. While it may never be considered a rare coin in the traditional sense, its condition-based scarcity keeps it firmly on collectors' radar. Final thoughts before the value reveal. The 1995 D. Jefferson 5-cent nickel is a perfect example of how an everyday object can carry hidden significance. It represents a moment in American minting history, showcases classic design, and reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the world of coin collecting, this nickel proves that even modern coins deserve a second look. And now, after understanding its background, design, condition factors, and collector demand, we arrive at the moment everyone waits for. Today, we're diving deep into one specific coin that has caught the attention of collectors and everyday people alike. The United States of America 2017 P. Mint Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel. This is not just pocket change. This is a modern coin with a voice, a purpose, and a place in the world of numismatics. Coins are time travelers. They move from hand to hand, crossing generations without saying a word, yet they record who we are, what we value, and how we choose to remember our leaders. The Jefferson 5-cent nickel has been part of American life for decades, and the 2017 P Mint Mark issue continues that legacy in a subtle but meaningful way. While it may not glitter like gold or shine like silver, its importance lies in its story, its condition, and its role in modern collecting culture. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in the late 1930s, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. From the very beginning, this coin symbolized intellect, independence, and the foundation of American democracy. Over the years, the design has evolved, but the spirit behind it has remained steady to be why the time we reached the 2017 issue. The Jefferson nickel had already undergone multiple design changes, including updates to Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, his historic home. These refinements were not made lightly. Each adjustment reflected improved engraving techniques, changing artistic preferences, and the need to keep the coin visually relevant in a modern world. Now let's talk about the P Mint mark. This single letter may look insignificant, but to collectors, it matters a great deal. The P Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historically important mints in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint is known for producing high-quality coins and often leads in technological advancements in minting. In 2017, coins from the Philadelphia Mint were produced with precision and consistency. The P Mint mark on the Jefferson 5-cent nickel represents reliability, tradition, and a long-standing commitment to excellence. For collectors, knowing the mint of origin helps determine desirability, rarity in certain conditions, and long-term interest. The obverse, or front side, of the 2017 Jefferson nickel features a forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. This modern depiction shows more detail than earlier versions, allowing viewers to see subtle features in Jefferson's expression. The inscriptions are clean and balanced, reinforcing the dignified tone of the coin. On the reverse, Monticello stands proudly. Jefferson's famous Virginia home is more than just a building. It is a symbol of American ingenuity and architectural brilliance. The lines are sharp, the lettering is clear, and the overall composition feels strong yet refined. Even though this coin is mass-produced, the craftsmanship still speaks volumes. The Jefferson 5-cent nickel is made from a copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and resistance to wear. This composition has been used for decades because it holds up well in circulation while remaining affordable to produce. The weight, thickness, and diameter are familiar to anyone who has handled nickels before, but for collectors, these specifications help confirm authenticity and condition. In higher grades, the surfaces of the coin can show smooth fields, crisp edges, and minimal marks. These characteristics play a crucial role in determining how collectors perceive the coin's overall quality and appeal. You might wonder why a modern nickel from 2017 would attract attention at all. The answer lies in condition, preservation, and market behavior. While millions of these coins were struck, only a limited number survive in pristine condition. Coins that have never been circulated or that have been carefully preserved stand apart from the rest. Modern collectors often focus on high-grade examples because they represent the best of contemporary minting. These coins capture a specific moment in time, frozen in nearly perfect form. For some collectors, building complete date and mint mark sets is a passion, and the 2017 P Mint Mark nickel plays an essential role in those collections. Condition is everything in numismatics. A Jefferson nickel that has passed through countless hands will show scratches, dullness, and wear. But one that has been protected from circulation tells a different story. Grading services evaluate coins based on surface quality, strike sharpness, luster, and overall eye appeal. When a 2017 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel achieves a high grade, it becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a collectible artifact. The difference between an average example and a top-quality one can be dramatic in terms of desirability and worth. The coin market is influenced by trends, collector interest, and long-term outlook. While flashy rarities often steal the spotlight, there is a steady and growing appreciation for modern issues that are well preserved. The 2017 Jefferson nickel fits into this category perfectly. Collectors who appreciate subtlety, consistency, and completeness often seek out coins like this. It may not make headlines, but it holds a respected place in modern American coinage. Over time, coins that were once overlooked can gain recognition as fewer high-quality examples remain available. Beyond numbers and grades, there is something deeply satisfying about owning a coin that represents modern America while honoring its past. The Jefferson nickel bridges centuries, connecting the ideas of an 18th-century statesman with 21st-century minting technology. Holding this coin can spark curiosity. Where has it been? Who might have handled it? Was it saved intentionally, or did it survive by chance? These questions add emotional depth that goes beyond metal and design. The United States of America 2017 P Mint Mark Jefferson 5-cent nickel may seem modest, but its story is rich. It reflects tradition, craftsmanship, and the evolving interests of collectors in the modern age. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the world of coins, this nickel offers insight into how everyday objects can carry lasting significance. As we look at its design, origin, condition, and place in the market, we begin to see that value is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, and waiting to be noticed by those who take the time to look closely.